started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up, please? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home? Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
No. They're gonna
Ma'am, hold on one second.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
David, as you say, she wasn't very keen to answer any of your questions there. And fire chiefs are also admitting that they just don't have enough personnel to take out the fires.
Yeah, they're fighting all sorts of challenges. They're talking about a water shortage. There are reports of fire hydrant failures. They've been unable to use firefighting aircraft for much of the day due to the smoke that is billowing ominously from the hills where the wildfires are raging. And I suppose despite that political storm, this is, of course, at its heart, a human story, because we've now 80,000 people evacuated. Tens of thousands of others are on standby to be evacuated. 2 lives have been lost in the Eaton fire, which is what's causing the consequence behind us. The city's iconic landscape almost shrouded completely by the smoke. And they're really just taking it one step at a time, hoping at some stage the wind's going to change direction or to die down, and that they're going to be able to get this fire under control.
Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. I'm showing not to show the devastation. That's obvious, and it is powerful to see. I worked those areas in the United States Border Patrol and the Coastal Border Enforcement Team. That whole Malibu, the seaside, the coast side of it, where you saw the houses, beautiful houses. If you ever watched 2.5 Men, there's the opening credits, if you will, show his house was supposed to be on that strip. That's a famous area. I've driven by it about 1,000 times, burnt to the ground. But what I want to focus on today is the left is crumbling. The left is completely falling apart. Why? Because everything that they have built has been on a foundation of sand. Nothing is logical. Everything is illogical. Diversity, equity, inclusion. We're now seeing in real time what that looks like. What does diversity, equity, inclusion look like? Those are buzzwords for people that are not qualified to do the job, but we have to put them there because they're gay, they're a woman, they're non-white. They're non-white. Put them in there, they're non-white. It's everything except qualifications. When did America flip? We became great for many, many reasons, but one of the great reasons was that the best person for the job got the job. If you wanted to hustle and you were intelligent, you could make a fortune in America. Those days are almost gone now. Do you know when you look at the Fortune 500 companies that over 60% of our population is white and less than 10% in the last year or two have been hired white? That's racist. That's racism at its core. That's discrimination at its core. If it's wrong to not hire someone because they're black and you don't want to hire someone now because they're white, it's wrong. It's wrong then and it's wrong now. Like I've said in my other shows, if the first top 10 people for whatever job, I don't care, doctors, NBA, nurses, bioscientist, garbage man, carpenter, finished carpenter, I don't care, podcaster, if they were all black, then they get the job. Nobody cares. I don't care. When I hire someone to come frame my house, do I look and go, man, I hope that guy's white? No, you have to be a complete moron. Hey, is this guy, what's your work? Can I get your references? Hey, this guy is the greatest in the world. He's awesome. You're hired. Do you know what is not on my list? Is their skin color. Hey, and can you tell me, do you like sleeping with men? Or are you straight? You like women? Do you think I care? Who cares? I tell you when you do care, though. When your house is on fire and your DEI mayor is in Africa, your DEI hire that's just because she's a lesbian has no water in the fire hydrants. Between her and the Karen Bass, the mayor, they fired 100 senior firemen because they wouldn't take the COVID shot. We don't have enough people to fight the fires. You fired them. You fired them. The top 3 brass in the LAPD, or excuse me, LA fire, I don't know if they're men or women. I think that the only one that I know for sure is the chief, because she said I'm a woman. And even that's questionable. Okay, I'm just telling you. I don't know. I don't know. The other 2, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. They're gigantic. Both of them have shoulders broader than mine. One person is like 6'5". They look like a linebacker or a lineman. I don't know. One of the people I'm going to show you is, her last name is Kionis. She is responsible for the water supply. She is the highest paid city official. A city employee. I understand, I live in California. I understand it's very expensive. So someone that has done their job, has rose up the ranks, and is in senior leadership in Los Angeles, San Diego, they need to be making $250,000, $300,000 a year. Okay? I wouldn't even blink at that. I wouldn't even flinch. Like, wow, she makes $300,000. I'd be like, yeah, she $400,000. She makes $750,000. She said we ran out of water because there was too many people using water at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the water couldn't flow uphill. Okay. The water couldn't flow uphill. I'm going to show you this video. What are you talking about, lady? Why don't they have water in California? Is because Gavin Newsom will allow the water to come down because he's protecting the Delta smelt. What in God's name is a Delta smelt? It is, think of a sardine about twice the size of a sardine, maybe something like that. Very thin. Delta smelt, you have no idea. I don't think And it's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars, just so we're all clear here. When this fire's done, you're not talking a billion. You're talking hundreds of billions of dollars of destruction. Because every house, even as a shanty, is worth $1 million, $2 million in Pacific Palisades. There's 6,000 acres, 10,000, 16,000 acres burnt. You can put 4, 5, 10 homes on an acre in California. All those homes that were burnt right on the coastline, 5, 10 million easy. 5, 10 million, garbage. I know they're garbage. I've seen them, been in them. They're garbage. It doesn't matter. It's California. It's a land of insanity. I bet if you ask those people, all those Pacific Palisades, leftists, and a lot of Karens there, oh dear Lord, there's a lot of Karens in Pacific Palisades. And they know better than you. They're smarter than you. You're a deplorable. You're a stupid redneck from the middle of America. You just don't know how to get out to California and live the life that we live. I've lived that life. I loved California until it turned. Went from all red, from Orange County, south side of LA, all the way down to the border. Solid red. Solid red. The whole state used to be solid red. But when you allow tens of millions of illegal aliens to pour into your country, with over 10 million of those illegal aliens living in California, they reproduce at a 5-to-1 ratio. And then in one generation, now you have, because of birthright citizenship garbage, now you have more people that have loyalties to Mexico than you have America. And they all need social benefits because they are all on welfare. They're all uneducated. They cannot pass school. In fact, I'm going to tell you a statistic. It's not racist, so don't even go there. Don't even try that crap with me, because I'm just going to shoot you right in the face with truth. It's been proven through research. The only group of people that have immigrated to America and have regressed are the Mexican nationals. They come into America barely able to read and write in their own language, majority are illiterate in their own language, and they regress, meaning their education is worse than their parents'. No other immigrant of any group, Asians, Africans, Europeans, Central Americans, South America, whatever, they all increase. They all make incremental steps, right? They're first generation of immigrants, legal immigrants come in, they get educated, there's a push for education, and then their jobs get better, and all of a sudden, probably 2 generations in, we have no idea where they're from. They're just Americans. They're our brothers and sisters. They're working, they speak perfect English, they're educated, they have job skills, blah, 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 blah. Not the Mexican nationals. I have friends that are Border Patrol agents, deep ties down to Mexico. Great friends, people that I got on the line with them, and I work side by side with them. I'm talking about hard, stone cold statistics. What happened to California? Why did it go from red to absolutely insane blue? That's why. But things are changing. Are they going to change fast? Are they insanity? The people that are insane and they're such hypocritical liars in California, are they always going to all change? No. But I will tell you this, those uber leftist nut jobs, and my wife was in Hollywood, extremely successful, so I was around it, and they are mentally ill. Straight up, down to the core. As sick as you think they are, they're sicker. As mentally ill as you think they are, they're even beyond what you think mental illness is. However, there's something happens to a man and a woman when you see everything you own go up in a flash, in a bang, and then you try to tether yourself to your stupid ideology. Your insane, illogical, irrational garbage. And all of a sudden that garbage falls to the side and you are just standing there, almost physically naked. You just have the clothes that are on your back. Everything else you own is burnt and its ashes flying into the sky. And you have this moment, even if it's fleeting, A moment of clarity. And what is that clarity? That everything you believed in is wrong. Everything. That, I would think, would have to be an incredibly, incredibly frightening time in someone's life. If I woke up one day and I was presented with the truth and it hit me in my face and I was like, oh my, I'm absolutely wrong about everything. Everything, all those crazy lunatics I've been saying, calling mental patients that want to rip off their genitals and have sex with children and print money and give it all away and steal everything and have sexual perversion. They're right. I'm wrong. God doesn't exist. Jesus Christ is made up. It's all a lie. That would rock my world. That would rock me to the core of who I am. But I'm not wrong. I'm right. People like me, people that have common sense are right. Are we right about everything? No. But the main things in the world we are right about. Fire hydrants need to have water in them. You don't fire firemen. You don't bring little tiny little girls and make them firemen. They don't work. You don't bring big fat slob women and make them police officers. I've been seeing the biggest, fattest women you can imagine are wearing gun belts and they're trying to arrest people. And the perpetrators are breaking free and running. They just have to run 10 feet. You're free, dude. In 10 feet, this woman, I don't care if you're overweight. Everyone's going fighting things. We have food. Everyone's jamming us up with all the plastics in our food. I'm not just castigating because someone's overweight. I fight my weight all the time. It's a daily thing for me because I'm a foodie. But I'm just saying, why is that person the police officer? There's no way in God's green earth that I want that person protecting me. None. Because you know what's going to happen? That person's going to get punched in the face because they're 250 pounds as a woman at 5'4", and she's going to fall down and have a heart attack. Now I'm going to have to take care of this perpetrator. Then I have to save that person's life. That's the one, as a civilian. As a law enforcement guy, I don't want her as my partner. Because you know what? His just natural human male is I need to take care of that woman. That woman I have to take care of. And then I get fixated on taking care of her and I get my head caved in by a savage. Happens all the time. You have DEI running rampant in California. California is a dying state. Why I'm passionate about this, let me back up for a second. Why am I so passionate about California? I grew up my father was a Secret Service agent. I was born in Massachusetts, but I moved all up and down the East Coast, and then I ended up in the Deep South, Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas. Beautiful people, wonderful, great food, loved it, but I always knew I wanted something else. I just instinctively knew it. And I got that something else when I got to go to California. And I went there in June. I was sweating to death in Louisiana in June in New Orleans. I fly to get sworn in to be a Border Patrol agent. And I'm there in June, and I'm looking in from my hotel out into the Pacific Ocean. There's not a cloud in the sky. There's no clouds in the sky for months on end. It's just beautiful as you can imagine. Cool breezes are blowing over me in June. In June. Everyone is kind. Everyone's going about their business. There's a feeling, an absolute feeling of opportunity. I'm going to be a Border Patrol agent. If I don't want to be a Border Patrol agent, I want to be an actor. I want to go into real estate. I want to do whatever I want to do. I can do it. That was the feeling I had in the 90s. That's what everyone went west because there was opportunity. There's no more opportunity there. There's homeless everywhere. There's illegals everywhere. There's trash everywhere. They're taxing you to death. Gas is over $5 a gallon. It's going to $6. They want you to have electric cars, but they don't have enough electricity. They are the microcosm of everything that's going to happen to America. That's really why I get so upset, is I saw something that I loved. I fell in love with that place. Loved it. I still long for it. I still look at it and go, that is powerful. That I remember that feeling. but it's coming to the rest of America. You may not like what happens in California. You say, oh, that California can stay in California. It doesn't stay in California. They're the trendsetters. It's Hollywood, the media. Oh, you don't think so? Let's go back 50 years with gay, lesbians. And that was kind of really taboo, right? It just was. In culture, I don't care if it's right or wrong. It's not about that. This is just about, it was taboo then. You didn't talk about it. You lived it outside in California, nowhere else. Now it's everywhere. Then it became LGBTQ, XYZ, division, times, pi square. And now that's everywhere. Illegal aliens used to just kind of hunker down in Texas and California. Now they're everywhere. Pornography was kind of like the seedy, maybe in the big cities, but mainly in California. That's everywhere. You don't think the insanity that happens in California doesn't blend into Kansas, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Wyoming? And one of the things that they've brought here, same thing with Washington, D.C. and New York, is DEI. They're insane. Let's listen to someone that hates DEI, and I think she's an incredible woman. I really admire her, and her name is Megyn Kelly. Let's listen to what she says about this person.
As if all of this is not enough, it turns out that in recent years, LA's fire chief has made not filling the fire hydrants top priority, but diversity. Diversity is at least among the top priorities for the department. Her name is Kristen Crowley. She's been fire chief since 2022. And in an interview shortly after she was elevated to this position, she talked about being super inspired to make the fire department more diverse.
More diverse. I love how she says it with her little Valley Girl accent. My producer just said, hey, I got a different clip I want to throw in there because there's transgender saying, this is... Logan, this is one of the 3 top people that I was talking about at the beginning. This is one of the 3 top. This is the tippity top of the organization. I'm going to assume this is a woman transitioning to be a bear. I don't think it's a man going to a woman. You know, at the same time, hell, I don't even know. I'm looking at the picture right now, audience. I'm looking at it, and I honestly am questioning myself. What is it? Let's listen to her, him, they, the, or Z's. I don't know what they call themselves. Let's listen.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Oh, so it's the guy's fault for being in a fire. And now you giant water buffalo, you can't carry him out. And here's something I want to make very clear. When my house is on fire or I'm fighting for my life or my family's life, I don't want you coming in. You're damn straight about that. I want someone looking like me that has the courage, the balls, and the strength that I had and that I have now. That's what I want. You're absolutely right. I want people to look like me coming in to save me. I don't want transgender freaks. I don't want your gender ideology. I don't want to know about if you like certain types of sex. I don't care. I want someone to save me, but I don't want you. I don't want you looking at me at 6'3", 2 1/4 and say, well, I can't pick you up, sir. You don't look like me, number one. And number two, you kind of got yourself in this position. I want you to understand that's not some transgender freak at the very bottom of the chain of command in LA Fire. She's like number 2. She's over in diversity. Her salary is like $200,000-$300,000 to do diversity. So at the end of the clip, there's only 5% of women that are firemen. I don't care. If that was 30% and they could do the job and you didn't water down the qualifications, fine, I don't care. They pass the test, they do it, great. You're a fireman. Wonderful, great. Go for it, sister. But if you're 5'3", 115 pounds, and we dropped all of the regulations and qualifications down, and all you have to do is carry somebody that's 95 pounds, kind of like someone that looks like the chief of police in New Orleans, grandma, Skeletor grandma. But when you have to go in and you got to get somebody that's 6'3", 225 pounds, and you got to carry me out, and you can't do it. You don't even have the physical strength to drag me over the hot burning coals. You don't deserve to be a fireman. Simple. That's it. My father used to, he said, I lost all respect in his profession as a Secret Service agent when they took away all the qualifications. Height, weight, size, all that thrown away. Why? Because they had to have women. Had to have women. And we saw what that looks like when a man like Donald Trump, 6'3", standing upright and ready, and he is being bodyguarded. Let me make sure that we can slow down if any leftists are listening. So I'm going to talk to them very slow, like grandma from New Orleans would talk to them. The word bodyguard, you are going to guard that individual with your body. You can't guard that individual when they're 6'3", 275 pounds. Maybe for Trump, he's probably way over 275, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt because I love him. 275. And you're going to guard him with a woman that's 5'6", 145 pounds. Okay. You just had a guy there's no way he's the only shooter, almost take his head off. That's how good a shot from a very small distance. So you still got a chest, neck, and head. Those are kill shots. Completely visible. Why? Because we got to have diversity, equity, inclusion. Don't you understand? That's the important thing. I understand that big, fat, broad-shouldered chick man that we just saw, I don't know what, I'm not trying to be disparaging to that thing. I don't know what they are. They need pronouns. I need to see the pronouns on the name tag. She can't help me. He can't help, whatever. She, he, they, Z says they can't help me. And it's my fault. DEI, as long as there's diversity, equity, inclusion, everyone else can just go to hell and die. Here's another DEI person. This is the mayor. Her name is Karen Bass. Perfect name, Karen. Karen Bass. She was in Ghana when this was all going down and flew in. We saw at the very beginning where she couldn't even answer a question from Sky News. But I want you to listen to her, read a prepared statement, and listen to what she says to do. She pulls a Biden.
We'll rebuild stronger than ever. Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this. Through the heroism of our firefighters, the vigilance of Angelenos, and the spirit of our city.
Do you hear what she said? You can find it at URL. No, sweetheart. You're supposed to say the website. You bumbling moron. You can find it at URL. Are you telling me she's qualified to be mayor? Do you understand how many people in LA? Do you understand the budget? Talking billions. Millions of residents. Immense amount of industry. Thousands of police officers. And I'm going to show you a picture of what DEI gives you. This is Pacific Palisades, people. I have been through there so many times. As far as the eye can see, burnt to the foundations. This is just one, maybe square mile. This goes on forever. They don't have even containment of the fire as you and I speak tonight. This is Karen Bass. This is the people that are running your country. Not just LA, this is all across America. Before I go on, I'm just going to touch on our sponsors. because I can't do the show without sponsors. I tell my son every day, time, talent, or treasure, son. Joseph, time, talent, or treasure, combination thereof, but at least one of them, or maybe all three. Let's just start with Swiss America. Swiss America Precious Metals. You have to diversify. Why? I'm just telling you for the last 30 minutes. These morons are running your government. These morons have no idea what's going on monetary fund. They have run our, excuse me, they have run our economy into the ground. When people say, well, we need Obamacare, we need the government run our health care, are you out of your mind? You want those idiots making determinations on if you need health care or not? You need surgery? Those are the same people running your monetary policies. Same one. Same one. Go to Wes Peters. You can call or text. You don't have to call him. Just text him. I need some information. He'll send it to you. He will not bother you. And then you call him when you're ready. Swiss America Precious Metals. Diversify. You know, Logan, I need like my pillow. I do. Last night I was in Memphis. I was at the worldviewtube.com studios doing an interview, which I want to talk about later, for The Vault. Slept in a hotel, nice hotel, no my pillow. I knew it when I slept on it. And all I could think about is I need to get home. Couldn't get home. I missed my flight because the weather in Memphis was terrible. Missed my flight. I got my flight, got into Minnesota. I'm racing, running as fast as I can. Missed my flight. Don't worry about Mr. Carrell. We got you on the next flight. It's 7 hours later. Holy man. Racing to get to my studio. I got here 3 minutes before I got to go on. I could told my producer, Logan. I said, I'm professional. I'm going to be here. Not going to take a nap, but when I do take a nap, I'm getting on my pillow. mypillow.com/JJ. Oh, well, you heard from the giant linebacker / whatever that you have to, if you're big and your husband needs help, well, he put himself in a bad spot. Well, where did that person learn that kind of ideology? Maybe from the governor. Let's listen to what the governor says about no water in the fire hydrants.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was trying the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe one fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's got to be determined by the local.
What? You're the leader of the state, you jackass. You are. Not the locals. You know you have Santa Ana's coming in. You know it. You knew it ahead of time. You knew that you haven't cleared the brush for 30 to 40 years. You have fallen trees everywhere. It's just like a bonfire waiting to happen. And it's the locals' fault? He's not a dummy. Okay, he may be immoral and just a disgusting human being, but he's not stupid. So he knows who the mayor is. He knows she's stupid. He knows who the fire chief is. He knows she doesn't know what she likes sexually. She's all over the place with all of her other transgender freaks that in the LA fire, they don't know what the heck they're doing. Don't tell me the locals have to be in charge, dude. You're in charge. The buck stops with you. Every time I see him, I think of my father. Not because he reminds me of my father in any way. My father would say to me sometimes, son, that is a face that needs to be punched. And what he was saying to me is that is an arrogant SOB that has never been in a physical altercation in his life, and he needs to get punched right in the face because he's so arrogant. And he's right. Leave it to the locals. Well, let's look at Miss Quiones. And she is the LA Department of Fire and Power CEO. that makes $750,000. Now, I want to ask all the business people that are watching right now, would you pay her $75,000 a year? Would you pay her $750 an hour? Or would you pay her full $750,000 annual salary? Listen.
We ran out of water in the first tank about 4:45 p.m. yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m.
cut
this
this
morning.
off at 1 minute.
Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants and the hills of Palisades. And because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line, and so much water was being used before it can get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line. So I want to make sure that you understand there's water on the trunk line. It just cannot get up the hill because we cannot fill the tanks fast enough.
What is the number of hydrants that could not get water because of these pressure issues? What percentage of the system in Pacific Palisades wasn't getting service at that point?
We were trying to keep water at all altitudes on the Palisades, and I think about 3 in the morning, that's when the hydrants went dry above the...
You pay her $750,000? That woman right there. Valid question. Does she work in like Haiti? I mean, if I was listening to someone talking from Haiti and saying we just didn't have water pressure, I'd go, okay, well, that's Haiti. Down in Honduras, we just didn't have water pressure. Okay, what's Honduras? I can understand that. We're talking about the superpower of the world. We're talking about one of the greatest economies in the world. Talking about California. You don't have water pressure? Well, sweetheart, would that fall in your area of responsibility? You are the, I'm going to read it very off my notes, LA Department of Water and Power CEO. Water and power. Power drives the water and gets it to where it needs to go. But you know what they're focused on? You won't believe this. Well, I'm sure absolutely you'll believe this. Do you know what their number one goal is at the fire department, the mayor's office, and this other DEI individual in the water and power? Do you know what their number one goal is in the next 10 years? To have 100% clean energy. 100% non-combustible engines. Okay. All right. Can't wait for 2035. I hope I'm still young and spry on Worldview Tube. Have huge following so we can all go back, and I'll tell Logan. He'll still be way younger than me, but he should be married and have some kids by then. And I'll say, Logan, pull that clip up from 2025. You know which one I need. Why do they not have enough firemen? Well, because they fired them. Why did they fire them? Were they miss work? Are they showing up drunk? No. They just didn't want to put a poison in their body called a vaccine. Oh, so we're going to fire them. Okay. 100 of them, at least. You think we could have used 100 more very, very seasoned firemen fighting that fire last night, the last 2 nights, and tonight? 100 more? What's that? I can probably do 40 more engine units. 30 at the least, 30 more engine units, maybe 25. Big deal. Ask somebody when they're sitting there watching their house burn down. Can you play this clip, Logan? These poor guys.
Thank you again to all of the folks behind me and the outstanding leadership of all the elected officials.
Oh, this is not the one.
Forgive me.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This guy is, well, what? That's my fault. I put the wrong clip in there. But what he was going to do. Yeah, you know what? Logan, you go ahead and play it. It's like 20 seconds. I need you to play it because it shows you the insanity of this man and what's going on. Listen to what he says about Karen Bass at the end.
California. Thank you again to all of the folks behind me and the outstanding leadership of all the elected officials as well. And forgive me, one point I'd be remiss. Thank you to Mayor Bass, who was on the phone immediately this morning, making sure even in absentia that she's here organizing everything she can to make sure we're successful as well.
What did you just say? You want to congratulate Bass because she was on the phone from where? Where was she on the phone, sir? What was she like in Santa Ana, or was she in San Diego, or is she up in Bakersfield? She's hustling to get back to LA. No, she's in Ghana, Africa. But she's there in spirit, in absentia, as a leader in absentia. Have you ever heard of anybody leading anybody from absentia? But they get away with it because they just talk in these word salads, and nobody says, hold on, sir, that makes no sense. He's an immoral piece of garbage, this guy. Lost in all that beautiful teeth and hair and nice skin, which I don't begrudge him. Good for you, my man. You're a very handsome guy. But let's just try to talk about what type of man he is. His best friend, I think it was when he was mayor of San Francisco. Best friend's his political manager, campaign manager, helping him get into office. Day and night, that's 16, 20-hour days, hustling, getting the money, doing it. It's a tough job. Well, how does Gavin Newsom repay his best friend? Best friend. Well, he bangs his wife. Yeah. Has sex with his wife while he's married too. Great man. Great man. Trust him. Trust him completely. While I lived in California during COVID, where we couldn't go to any restaurants, we couldn't even go to fast food, we couldn't get anything except to go to Costco or big box stores. That's it. Everything else was closed. And this guy was sneaking into high-end restaurants and eating with his friends and laughing. Had the whole restaurants to themselves. As angry as I am about all of this, all the governmental corruption, all of the people that run in our nation, the reason why, there's two reasons. One, we allow them. We allow them to do it. Instead of picking them up, dropping it on their head, and then throwing them in jail, we don't do anything. And secondly, the people that represent us are just a reflection of who we are. That's hard to hear. I understand that. It's hard to hear, but it's a reflection of who we are. Before I go on, I want to just go to the last one. This is Megyn Kelly, and she's fired up. And I love it when she gets fired up. This is a very strong, intelligent woman, strong Catholic woman, married woman with kids, knows her value, knows where she needs to be. Left her job with Fox News to go to NBC because she needed more time with her kids. She could not continually miss things. And then she's like, I'm out of here completely. I need to be a mom. And I'm sure she's podcasting like she does extremely well. And I'm sure she has a studio in her home. I'm just guessing, but I'd bet money. Go ahead and play her. She's someone I admire.
Who gives a if the fire chief is gay? I'm sorry, but who gives a flying fig about who she likes to sleep with? Can you fight fires, madam? That's the relevant question. We don't care about your lady parts, and we don't care who you want having access to them. Can you fight fires? Can you make sure there's water in the fire hydrants when you realize in Ventura County this is a massive problem? When you realize that California is going through a drought where they haven't had rain in weeks and months, I don't care who turns you on. And you know why they have only 100 women in a squad of 3,300? Because women tend to be smaller and not as strong. And unless you lower the requirements to become a firefighter, most women can't pass the test. This is an absurdity. This is just like the Secret Service and what happened with Trump. We needed all these women in there who weren't even tall enough to protect the 6'3" president. Under this woman, Ms. Crowley, the department created a diversity, equity, and inclusion bureau to train firefighters not on refilling the hydrants or what to do when they're empty, but on the importance of DEI.
Amen. Couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better. Like I said, I've been running through the airport nonstop. It is freezing in Memphis. It is freezing in Kansas, and it was freezing in Minnesota. Even though I didn't go outside, I could feel it permeating through the glass, and I could feel a cold coming on. I've been telling you, I haven't been sick in forever, but I'm going to kill that cold because my immune system. I took a couple of these when I got home. What are those? That is from Pet Club 24/7. Pet Club 24/7. You can go to truthwithjj247.com for your dogs, cats, pets, horses, and humans. It is a mushroom from Japan. I love it. They've broke it down and put it in a capsule form, or for your pets, it could be in the treats, or if you have dry skin because it's the winter time and I'm in Kansas, it's snowing. You have their cream and their balms, have all that product in there, all natural. I love it. The husband and wife team that owns the company, amazing, wonderful Christian family, awesome. Go to truthwithjj247.com. Before I go into, it's Thursday, and I didn't put it in my Wednesday show, and I know the guys in the control room are sad about the libs at TikTok, but I did not forget you. I have libs at TikTok, and I have one at the very end. That's for you, all you single men, not all you single ladies, all you single men in that control booth. I have a special one for you, or one or two. I'm gonna be that Chuck Woolery. I'm gonna set you up on an amazing blind date that could just be the love of your life. You just don't know. You just don't know. I just need you to have an open mind. I need you to have a very, very open mind, like big. I want you to open your head to the craziest possibilities you can imagine. But before we do that, when you see that fire, there's no cell service. There's no nothing. And there's going to be no nothing until maybe Elon Musk gets Starlink up there. So what do you need? You need a sat phone. Where are you going to stay? Maybe your house, maybe it was on the edge and it didn't get burnt out. You're the one of the very few lucky ones. No power. What do you need? You need a generator. Maybe you have to go stay in a hotel. Downtown LA. Downtown LA. Surrounded by junkies, prostitutes, pimps, illegal aliens from every nation on planet Earth. You better have a backpack that has a ballistic shield in it. Where do you go to get all that stuff? Well, you go to sat123.com. You get the sat phone for free when you subscribe, your monthly subscription. Like you just get on a cell phone, like you go to Verizon or whatever. But these are tied to satellite, thus the sat phone. People blowing stuff up, people running into people burning things to the ground. You're not affected. Sat123.com, sat123.com/JJ. Let's run into this before I talk about Sarah Maccabee interview yesterday. Let's go right into the vault. And I want to, not the vault, right to Libs at TikTok. And I want to show you. Let's start out. Let's ease into the Libs at TikTok. Let's start with Adam Carrell, who I love, who's given a congressional testimony about his white privilege. And it ties into the LA fire. Wait till you hear this.
Geez, I want to talk about my white privilege so badly. I graduated North Hollywood High with a 1.7 GPA. I could not find a job. I walked to a fire station in North Hollywood. I was 19. I was living in the garage of my family home. My mom was on welfare and food stamps. And I said, can I get a job as a fireman? And they said, no, because you're not black, Hispanic, or a woman. We'll see in about 7 years. And I went to a construction site and dug ditches and picked up garbage for the next 7 years. I got a letter in the mail sent to my father's house saying, your time has come to do the written exam for the LA Fire Department. I took it, and I was standing in line, and I had a young woman of color standing behind me in line, and I said, just out of curiosity, when did you sign up to become a fireman? Because I did it, or a person, 7 years ago, and she said, Wednesday. That is an example of my white privilege. It's
White privilege. I love it. As you can tell, I'm white, but I have a lot of Native American in me, my father. I don't think I've gotten any privilege. Everything that I have gotten, I have grinded to get it. One of two things that have just been handed me. One is the greatest thing ever happened to me is my son through adoption. That just went flawless, and it should never have gone flawless. Never. Not with those emotions and all the people involved and the importance and the just the importance of that moment. Outside of that, everything I've gotten is by just grinding and working my butt off. And I'm insulted when people call it white privilege. Insulted. You weren't out there when I was working 20, 30-hour shifts in the Border Patrol. You weren't out there when I was working 18-hour overtime shifts. You weren't out there in the hospital with broken bones. You didn't go to the Border Patrol Academy. You didn't go to school at night to get a master's degree while you were working 60, 70 hours a week. You didn't do that. You didn't start a business and sacrifice your money, time, and talent and treasure. I did. There's no privilege. I just worked my butt off. Don't insult me. I'm not going to allow you to insult me. You want to talk about insulting? Let's look at a 14-second clip of the LA fire chief at the Pride Parade, because that's where she needs to be, the Pride Parade.
Its leadership has since changed. Chief Crowley is an openly gay woman now.
It took me a couple years. I wasn't sure, and this was when I was new on the job. I was very kind of mindful about my personal life.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. I don't care who you sleep with. I'm with Megyn Kelly. I can obviously look at you and say, you're not into men. I got it. I got the butch look, the no makeup. You look like a small linebacker. I get it. We all get it. I just don't need to know about it. I don't care. I don't care if you're a straight woman. I don't care about your sex life. Nobody cares. You're so narcissistic. Now, this is what I'm telling the guys in the control booth. I really need you to be non-judgmental. I don't know what this person is. He's fluid. She's fluid. And I think you need, if love is love, then love just is love. Maybe this might be the fit for one of you two, those guys back there in control room. Let's go ahead and play it. Have an open mind.
I'm Jack. My pronouns are they, them, and I identify as trans and non-binary. Here are 3 things you can do to support trans children in your school. Number 1, be a visible trans ally. There are lots of ways to do this, from having trans-inclusive flags in your classroom to having trans-inclusive storybooks on your bookshelves. Number 2, stop unnecessarily gendering things in your school. This ranges from easy changes, like not grouping children into boys and girls, to not having gendered uniforms. Consider how excluded trans and especially non-binary children and staff may feel about gendered spaces and policies. And number 3, teach children about pronouns, what they are, how we use them, and why they're important. This allows trans people to not be singled out for their pronouns and instead makes pronouns part of the norm.
I don't know. I never kissed somebody with a mustache and beard before. So I don't know how that's going to be that first magical time when you guys it's just one of those, the moon shining and the nice cool breeze maybe off of the plains, or you're in California where that guy's obviously from. And there's a cool breeze off the Pacific Ocean. It's just that time. I think that you gotta go for it, man. Just gotta go for it. I think it's there for you. And if it's not him, I think it could be this next person. I really, really do. This could be, it's just a picture. Unfortunately, I would like to hear her voice because I'm assuming it's soothing. But go in with open mind. And I title this a picture that shows everything wrong with America. Now that's beautiful. That is not only beautiful, it is normal and it is natural. And I think if you look at that and you look at some man in a dress thinking he's a woman next to a urinal with a gigantic belly, and that's what you see, I think you're a bigot. Because what I see is someone trying to be their authentic self. Beautiful. When people are, who they think they should be, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Speaking of beauty, I need to show you one more picture. And this, again, the guys, please have an open mind. Please. She looks like she would be nurturing. I really do. Long day. Brandon House is yelling at you. He doesn't like the clips. He didn't pick up his dry cleaning. He doesn't have his pocket square. He doesn't have his vest the way it is. You didn't segue in, segue out fast enough for Brandon House. He's pounding on the table. He's yelling at you. And you go home and you open the door and there she is. There she is. It's romance. It's everything that you dream of. Lives a TikTok. I can't get enough. And it is changing me, I will tell you. It's making me a softer, more gentle, more caring, and more open man. And I sure need it because that toxic masculinity is crushing me. Now, before I go, I have to show you this last video because it's so important. And it's Joe Biden to show you what a narcissistic scumbag he is. The whole California is burning to the ground, but wait, he has great news.
Astounding what's happening. Only one piece of good news. My son lives out here in the way. They got a notification yesterday that their home is probably burning down. Today, it appears that maybe still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great grandfather as of today. I was granddaughter. Baby girl, baby boy. So I remember this day for about a long recess.
Have you had enough? Have you had enough, America? You've lost everything. You've lost everything. But that senile, old, arrogant SOB is a great-grandfather. Have you had enough, America?
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. My name is Logan House. We got a few stories to go over today. First one being, if I can pull it up here, Technocracy. Is Trump pursuing Technocracy's dream to create the great American technate, which we've been covering to very, very extensively on our network this week with my dad's shows. Next, we'll have the WEF says 41% of companies worldwide planning for AI to shrink workforces by 2030. And then lastly, we touched on this one the other day. We'll keep going with it with the UBI fails as technocrats only answer for AI-induced jobs carnage. Patrick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, but I'll tell you what, I'm struck, I'm shocked by all of the carnage that's going on in Southern California right now. This is so sad. I'm from California, as you know. We maybe don't know,
no,
but
I didn't know that.
I am. So I have a lot of friends in Southern California, and I can't talk to anybody because they've fled their homes. They've left their cars in the street to run away from the flames. And at this point, there's just nothing left except for the crying. There's so many other side stories on this. Just a few months ago, two major companies, insurance companies, bailed out of California altogether. Big ones. I'm talking Geico, I think Allstate's the other one. Major insurers of homes in Southern California. These people have not been able to find coverage for their homes. And they just watched them go up in smoke.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's just one side. I mean, who knew that this was going to happen?
And a lot of these people have had these homes for so long.
Yes.
When they bought them, they weren't nearly the price they are now, and they're not going to be able to afford to rebuild or to buy a new one in that location.
That's exactly right. So there's the face of Southern California basically has been changed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be changed forevermore, I'm afraid. And landmarks, schools, you name it, libraries, there was no respecter of the fire. It just took everything in its path. And it's still going on today. The winds have picked up again, and some of these fires are not, they're not even 0% contained.
Yeah.
So they're just going crazy. So we need to pray for these people. And, it's just shocking to me. I couldn't get my eyes off of the TV this morning, just following the story. Fortunately, I had another thing that I had to take care of that kind of distracted me for a while, that I couldn't get my eyes off the TV watching what was going on. It's just absolutely amazing. So in any case, this is national disaster, whatever, number 4 or 5, 6, something like in the last 6 months. This one's going to be the big one because I don't think there's ever been a fire like this in the history of America.
Yeah, and I mean,
including the San Francisco fire of 1906.
I mean, it will never be the same. I mean, it'll take them so long to rebuild.
Yes,
it's so sad.
So in any case, we need to talk about Trump. This is the story of the decade, I think, at this point, because there's so many different channels of thought that need to be thought, going through. What on earth is Trump doing to create this new imperialistic empire that will include Greenland, Canada, possibly Mexico, and as well as Panama? Maybe all of the Central American countries as well. What's going on here? People want to know for sure. The MAGA movement at this point, they're just going nuts over this. They think, oh, this is a great thing to do. I'll tell you what, though, when I became a populist, if you will, and I joined the quote populist movement, I never agreed to anything like seeing America going imperialistic. That was not in the script. So all of a sudden, this just comes out. Really? Well, I don't know. I'm just an old guy, What do you think? From your perspective, from your age group, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, I don't want it to happen, and there's no coincidences here. I mean, when you show the maps of what they were proposing in the 30s to now, and you people try to say that it's not what they're doing. I mean, there's no coincidences that they're going after the same thing that they wanted back then. And Elon, who's right next to Trump 24/7 now, has family ties right back to it.
He does. Yeah, that's right. Boy, I'll tell you this is I'll tell you what happened. This kind of a aside. I got an inquiry this morning. Somebody in Europe had read my article that we're going to look at here that about Technocracy's dream. Somebody in Europe, a journalist who works for a paper associated with a Politico, Politico in Europe. This is a big deal. She got wind of my story